What's in the stars, the cosmos, the cards for you this week ahead? We're going to dive into how the moon can support you this week, how you can navigate the energy with more grace and ease. I'm excited to jump into this week with you. Welcome, welcome. As you jump on, give me a quick hello. I'm going to just get this little message off the screen because I want to talk about the cards that I pulled for us before we jumped on. I'm starting to do that now where I tune into the energy beforehand to talk about the theme of the week, and then I'll pull cards for each day of the week, along with diving into the astro events that you can make the most of. Especially, we're looking at the moon. And why the moon? Well, the moon affects us on a daily basis, and the moon helps us tune into our emotions and our feelings. So there are some days where we might be feeling more irritated and agitated or less inspired to do something. And it might not just be you, it might be the energy that's moving around you and through you. And if you know that, you're less likely to beat yourself up. You're less likely to say, oh, why can't I ever finish anything? Why can't I do this? And you just say, oh, you know what? The moon is in Leo. My spirit really wants to play today. Or the moon is in Pisces. I just want to take a long bath and listen to some good music. But when the moon is in Virgo, then you'll find your spirit stirring and you can get those things done that might have been waiting in the wings. So let's jump into the overarching theme for this week. The first card that I pulled for this week is the Justice card. Now, this is very interesting, taking into account what's happening this week with the cosmos, with the stars and the planets above. The Justice card is really about being radically honest with yourself, maintaining incredible integrity so that you can have clarity and see clearly. So, here this beautiful woman is in the card, her eyes are closed, but her reflection, can you see how her eyes are open? She is completely aware, alert, and knowledgeable to what's going on around her. When I was learning how to read the cards, it was funny because my teacher would say, when this card comes up, it's basically like if you speed, you get the ticket. If you cheat on the test, you get caught. All of that to just say, be honest with yourself, maintain integrity. Mars is going to be opposing Pluto this week. Venus is going to be conjuncting Saturn. We're going to talk about what all that means because that's all Greek. But those are big planetary movements that are bringing about the potential for transformation and change for you. And as we look into it, know that this is also not just about being honest with yourself for clarity, but honest with other people. Don't feel like you've got to be polite and say you're just fine. We can be kind, we can be nice. Have you heard about the 4 gates of speech? So before you say something, you run it through these 4 gates. You first run it through, is it true? Then you run it through, is it necessary? Can I say it in a kind way? And is now the best time? So you want to be able to say yes to all 4 of those checkpoints before you take action. Otherwise, timing might be off. You might want to tell your friend they have spinach in their teeth, but the timing might not just be right just yet. You might throw them from their thought. Or you might want to share something, but you can't figure out how can I say it in a compassionate and a kind way yet. So like, okay, let me mull this over for a moment. That makes a big difference. Hello, Hannah. Happy Easter. Glad that you're here. I'm so glad when you can all join me live and we can do this because it is important to know that you're not alone on this journey. We have our beautiful community, and more importantly, you have your friends in high places, your angels, your guides with you. You are being invited this week to take a really clear, courageous look, and I'm going to give you a sacred practice to help you with this, in addition to the 4 gates of speech, but to take a clear look at your heart and say, what emotional weight have I been carrying? What stories have I been carrying that are ready to be transformed, transmuted, ultimately released? Because when you do that, that clarity is going to bring balance and harmony to you. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Chrissy. So great to have you all here. Okay, so let's talk about this week ahead. The other thing that I want to mention with this week ahead that was so cool that came up, not only did we get the Justice card, but the wonderful card of transformation. letting go and rebirth. I choose my words carefully with this one because I love the artist of this deck. She really has a beautiful way of breaking through the symbolism. But this card represents transformation. It represents an ending, and it's really a transmutation. It's the moment where you can say, I am putting something to bed. I'm closing this chapter. I'm closing this aspect, the story of my life, and getting ready for the next adventure. And again, it takes courage. This week, as we're going towards the new moon in Taurus on Sunday, you're being invited to rest. When we go into the dark of the moon, that balsamic moon phase at the end of the week, you might find your energy really, really dropping and draining, and you're being encouraged, rest. So if nothing else that you might get from this time together this morning, I encourage you, make sure you have that moment of honesty with yourself. Don't try to fudge it over or say, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be better tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow, or I'll take a look at that then. Have those conversations with yourself. Come into integrity with those around you as well as yourself. Know that it is a time of healing and letting go, and it does require rest. Anytime we're getting ready for something big, bringing something new into this world, rest is so important. Think of the expectant mom who's carrying the little one in their womb. They're a lot sleepier. They need their rest. They need that healing time, or the growth that a little one goes through. They require so much more sleep as their body is growing and their mind expanding so rapidly. This week, if you're feeling tired, you're not alone. Okay. Hey, if we haven't met, by the way, my name's Irina Miller. I'm a spiritual life guide, an energy alchemist, and astrologer. And it is my joy to be your guide on this journey. And my mission, my goal, my intention is to give you the sacred practices and tools that enable you to step into the life you were born to live, along with the weekly weather. So it's not just a report of what's happening with the energy around you, but it's the tools that you can utilize to navigate it. And if this is something that you really like learning about and knowing more about, then definitely please do hit the like, the subscribe button. It helps out so much in getting this word out to others who can benefit from it. And please do share with your soul friends as well. Okay, the overarching energy of this week ahead. Let's talk about that. I always love to say and look at, what is the moon doing this week? And the moon is going into that dark phase. It's getting darker and darker in the sky, what's known as a waning crescent. And this waning crescent is going to bring us up to the new moon on Sunday, a new moon in Taurus. Very intuitive, spiritual moon, which is going to be nice. Also a very slow moon, but there's something brewing within this moon. We are being called, kind of like being in a pressure cooker where the heat is building and building and building, to make a change. Something's got to give. And if we don't pay attention to the pressures and we just feel like they're collapsing in on us, or we're resisting them, you know that phrase, what resists persists, it's going to keep persisting, and we're going to get overwhelmed. We might feel like we're just going to blow up. We get aggressive. We just lose our temper, flip our lid. But it's saying this week, you're being invited this week to channel your energy, channel it into something creative. So we're going to talk about the sacred practices you can utilize to do that. There's a lot of moments, cosmic moments, you could call them, with the planets and the stars this week, that are going to give you those little respites. And I want to point out those moments, because if you get busy and you just kind of push through the day, or you're like, oh, I'm so tired, but I got to keep going, I got to get this work done. If you push through those moments, you might not have the stamina and the energy that you need for when this energy comes to a head. And remember, with any alchemical experience, it's the heat, the fire, or the extreme cold that creates the alchemical shift and change. Because what we're really looking to do is we're really looking to transmute, not just transform. Transformation would be like a makeover, right? We get our hair colored, we wear new makeup, get new outfits, we're transformed. But transmuted means we're changing things on a cellular level. And once energy has been created, it's always in existence. We're not destroying it. So we need to change it at that alchemical level. And we can do that with the fire. So this pressure cooker, think of like the coal turning into the diamond. This is one of those kinds of weeks where that pressure, rather than it let you or create a feeling of overwhelm, utilize it to become diamond strong. And with that said, let me go ahead and just show you the sacred practice that I love for this. It's one that's a yoga hand gesture, a mudra, M-U-D-R-A. And if you ever do yoga hand gestures, mudras, let me know in the comments. Many people know Anjali. Anjali mudra, often said in a greeting for a hello or goodbye, like namaste at yoga class. This one, it is done to create an unshakable trust and confidence and courage within you. And the way that you do it is you interlace your fingers just there at that first little joint. You gently squeeze your fingers together, your thumbs to the sky, and you place your hands over your heart. And as you place your hands over your heart, you can have eyes opened or closed, but take a few deep breaths. Vajra, V as in Victor, A-J-R-A, means thunderbolt or diamond. And pradama means gift or an offering. And so what you are doing is you are taking the strength, the eureka of the lightning bolt, the flash of insight, the diamond strength, the courage within your heart. You're building that to withstand any kind of ups and downs that life might bring your way. And you breathe. So at any point during this week, if you're feeling the pressure, and rather than it feeling like it's making you stronger and you can channel that energy into a creative endeavor and make something brand new, being innovative and the like, bring your hands to this position. And by placing your hands in this position, you create a physical shape with your body to allow grace, energy, prana to move through you to evoke or invoke a particular experience. I kind of want to use both words there. And breathe. So keep that in your toolbox this week, along with the 4 gates of speech. And you're going to find that it makes a difference. Because let's just for a moment talk about some of the big things happening this week. Astrologically, many people are keeping their eye on, when I say many people, astrologers and people who are into astrology, the Mars-Pluto opposition. That actually comes to a head on Saturday, the 26th. But all this week long, we're going to be feeling that. And that's a conflict. That's a tension between your desires and passion and that moment for stepping into something deeper and bigger. It's a moment of transformation. It can be your individual power sometimes against the collective power. And there's an invitation to utilize that strength for your own growth, power over you, so to speak, or within you, rather than power over others. So you're going to be invited to kind of open up to where can you step into your personal power instead of just falling into conflict with others. One thing to also take note about this big energy that's building is that it started back in November of 2024. Then in January 3rd, 2025, there was a second moment where we had this tension building. And this is the third opportunity for this moment of really claiming your inner strength and courage for that inner transformation to occur and to find the balance. And it will take that radical honesty with yourself of really looking at things clearly and saying, am I helping myself or hurting myself here? Am I helping others or hurting them? Maybe I'm trying to help, but my words of wisdom, are out of divine timing. We run it through the 4 gates of speech. I want to invite you, think back to October of 2024 and November of 2024, because that is when you started this kind of stewing or marinating on whatever is being transformed. And if you want to know specifically what's going on for you in your chart, reach out to me. We can do a natal chart reading. If you're on my email list, you can simply hit reply. If you're not on my email list, holy cannoli, let me just for a second, if my screen will allow me, I got to move this up. I have a gift that I share with everyone. And this week, this gift too would really come in handy. irenamiller.co/get calm. If you go there, you can receive a beautiful little 2-minute audio file of how to release the tension and get back to calm. It's a grounding practice. I guide you through it. You can download it from this site. And if you do that, then you'll get on my email list and then just hit reply to any of my emails if you have questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Specifically, too, if you want to take the time to do a one-on-one and look at your chart and say, okay, what is a conflict that's happening? Where can I find resolution? What do I need to be paying attention to so I don't feel like the world is just crushing in on me? Like that scene from Star Wars where they're in the kind of incinerator or the compactor. That's what it would be. Compactor, not incinerator. Holy cannoli. That's a little scary. Okay. So it's a big week. It really, really is. And it might not be the easiest, but you've got the tools to help you get through that guided meditation I just shared, the Vajrapadma mudra, and then also the 4 gates of speech, because it's going to just help you in that moment of really saying, what do I need to say to someone else? And what is it important that I hold back on? Wednesday, the sun's going to square Pluto, and the sun is your individual willpower. And this is coming to a head with collective strength and power of transformation. And for this, the invitation becomes around surrendering. Notice what you're resisting in your life and where that resistance might be holding you back from finally getting relief and finally receiving answers and getting the guidance that you've been looking for. And, if you think about it, sometimes we might be worried and stressed and we're falling into fear and anxiety because we don't have the data, we don't have the clarity, but we might be afraid to ask. Or, it's kind of like stepping on the scale, like, I don't want to know, or looking at our books, like balancing our checkbooks or whatever. And we're like, oh, I don't want to know. But if we have a trusted mentor, look at that patriarchal type figure, whoever that is, don't necessarily have to be a male or even older than us, but somebody that we see in that role that helps guide us at times on really tuning in to having the strength and taking a very clear look with integrity and radical honesty of where am I going and what am I doing? Am I on the right track? That comes in with the Venus-Saturn conjunction on Thursday. Saturn is like that patriarchal figure or mentor. And Venus is what you value, how you value yourself, your resources, your things, how you love yourself. And I think often, like when I see like the Venus and Saturn coming together to conjunct, it's like they're giving a hug to one another in the sky, that it's like that old phrase, discipline equals freedom. Sometimes Saturn, who brings in that energy of discipline and responsibility and sometimes restriction, can feel like restriction. We're like, oh, but I just want to have fun. I just want to be free. I want to go out. I want to eat whatever I want to eat. I want to stay up as late as I can. And then what you notice is that you don't feel so good actually in the next day, or you end up stressed because you didn't get the work done that you'd hoped to. All this is saying with Saturn is saying, having structure, having a routine, really framework, routine's a little more Virgo, but having that framework is going to give you freedom in the end. Taking some time to make sure you get to bed early will also help. I think of that, was it Benjamin Franklin who said, what, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound, or an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I think it went something like that. That's kind of the idea. Saturn is trying to help us, even though at times it might feel like we're being restricted. Okay, let's go ahead and look at each day this week and the daily moon guidance. As we tune in, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you where the moon is, how you can make the most of it when we'll pull a card for that. We kick off the week with the moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is great because Aquarius knows how to rise above the drama, how to detach from all of the emotions and the ups and downs, sometimes so well that they totally just step away from the conversation. The cool thing about the Aquarian moon is that it's going to give you a chance to look at things differently. They're very innovative and creative. So use this moon today to help you kind of reframe any of those moments, memories, feelings, emotions that bubble to the surface where you're like, oh, you know what, that didn't go over so well, or that wasn't so great. I've got to take some time to really take a clear look at this. The Aquarian moon can help you so that you are in more of an observer role rather than judgmental, which can be very nice. And if I pull a card for that and I ask, how can you make the most of Monday's energy? Oh, we got a lot popping up here. Knight of Pentacles. You're playing the long game and you're planting your seeds for the future. So with Monday, with the Aquarius energy, don't feel like whatever is coming to the surface has to be a quick fix, that you have to have a quick change or a quick result. You're taking your time. He's walking barefoot. And when you're outside walking barefoot, you can't move too quickly. You've got to pay attention to what's on the earth. He's looking around him. He's not on his horse. He's not in a rush. And the seeds he's planting, he knows they're not going to produce fruit or veggies in the next hour, but it's going to take some time. So what you're doing now in this week of radical honesty, knowing that things are really coming to a head, is you're just observing, like, what's going on around me. I'm playing the long game. What actions can I take today that will help me in the future? And, maybe it's, you want to get your health and your physical strength back. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to ease into it rather than cut all my calories and exercise a bajillion hours a day. I'm going to just, stop like the nighttime snack or something, or I'm going to make sure I walk at lunchtime. It's these tiny little things you add into your day that can make all the difference. So it's a compounding. All right, Tuesday. So Tuesday, the moon's still in Aquarius, but here's a really interesting thing that I love. The Aquarian energy does bring breakthroughs. It brings eureka moments where it's like, whoa, new insight, like that flash of lightning. Very cool. So you're getting these moments of objectivity, insight and awareness, innovative thinking, and then the moon goes void, of course. So the moon goes void around, I think it's basically 6 p.m. Eastern. So our friends on the West Coast, Pacific time, around 3 p.m. Our friends across the pond, I don't know if you're 5 or 6 hours ahead of me. So maybe like anywhere from like 10 to 11 p.m. But the point is that when that moon goes void, of course, it's saying, the energy saying, pause, rest, don't do anything, relax, just kind of sit with it. So you've been in this Aquarian moon, you've had potentially innovative, creative thinkings, reframing what you're seeing, insights, downloads, and now the moon says rest. Just kind of sit with it. You're not supposed to do anything. So Tuesday night, you're just sitting with it, not to take action. You're just contemplating, pausing. And how can you make the most of that energy? Three of Pentacles. So when you're pausing, maybe that's when you're two things. The Three of Pentacles can either be you stepping into the role of expert and recognizing the expertise and value of knowledge and awareness that you bring to the situation. And it can also represent community, finding yourself a group that really can help you with the process of transformation. There's that old phrase, you are the company you keep. So keep great company. And if you notice the people that you're hanging around, you become more and more like, we're hanging out with them. So it makes sense. Well, of course, we're going to be staying out late, or we're going to be getting the drinks, or we're going to be eating the fun foods. Find the groups that help you. So maybe you're just you're pausing, you're contemplating, you're saying, you know what? I really want to transform this area of my life. What kind of groups, networks, organizations might help assist me in that journey? What do I already know? Where can I stand in my own level of expertise and knowledge? Well, I'm excited now for Tuesday. Holy cannoli. Wednesday, because I know there's a lot that, it's never easy looking at these parts of ourselves that we've kept a little hidden. And we're like, oh, I'm too busy. I've got to rush through life. I've got to get this done. I'll get to that later when I have more time. And it's like, oh, well, when do we ever have more time? And this week is saying, you know what? I'm going to help you make the time. It's time for transformation. And if you resist, and if you keep going, la, 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 I can't see, I don't know, I don't want to know, that's when the pressure is building. That's when we really feel like the wall is closing in. So it's saying it might feel a little intense to take a look, but as soon as you do, you're going to have clarity, and it's not going to be as bad as you thought. You're going to be able to come up with a plan, and you're going to be able to find the answers you need. So we're utilizing our sacred practices and tools, easy peasy, friends in high places, call on your angels. And another sacred practice that I love, love, love to use, that I encourage all of you, is every morning when I wake up, I say, may God go before me and show me the way. May angels watch and protect me throughout the day. And saying something as simple as that is just a way for you to connect with your friends in high places, saying, okay, God, thank you for honoring my free will. I know that you don't step in unless I ask for help. So I'm kind of putting it out there. If you see something that I should be paying attention to, a path that I should be going down, give me the nudge. I'll pay attention. Angels, make sure I don't do something stupid. So all of these things, they make such a difference. Okay, Wednesday, the moon is in Pisces. Pisces, very intuitive, very soft. It is about surrender. It's about dissolving. It's really letting go. So if you think about this week, we're in that pressure kind of chamber and we're building towards a Mars-Pluto opposition on Saturday, but you'll be feeling it all week long. And then on Sunday, we've got the new moon that really helps you tap into your value, what you really are so happy about when it comes to your heart and the way you find to connect with beauty and harmony in this world. So that Pisces moon is saying time for quiet, time for meditation, time for retreat, rest. So we begin that resting period. If you are feeling tired, honor that. You might need to step away from the world a little bit, have that quiet time, but allow that moment of rest to inform your next actions. It is in the rest that we get a lot of insight. And I get funny because I keep going back to Lenny Kravitz because he quotes, to quote him, he said something to the like of, it's in the recreation that we can create or we can even recreate. Basically saying it's in the rest that we can really receive the insights and downloads for the creations that we're going to bring into this world. And we need that this week so that we can channel that big energy into something that is productive. Okay, how can you make the most of Wednesday's energy? Healing the heart. Let go of the old wounds, the past wounds that may have been weighing you down. Offer them to the earth. Whether you do a burning bowl or you write it down on a piece of toilet paper and you flush it down the toilet, or you take a shower and you imagine the water just rinsing off the heaviness, the heartache. Because here's the thing is that when we take this radical look of honesty at ourselves and even at the world around us, we might really just feel those heartaches. That might be why we resisted looking in the first place. Maybe we're disappointed in ourselves or in other people. Maybe we're like, oh, how could I have done that? Listen, there's many different pathways to get to our goals and our dreams. Like I'll take the high road and you take the low road. I'll take the low road, you take the high road. But the part of it is to know that you're not alone and you always have options. There's always potentials and possibilities. And as we step into this energy of Taurus, then happy birthday, Taurus friends. Didn't get a chance to say that earlier on. The sun is now in Taurus. As you step into that, it really is about being able to tap into your treasures, the treasures you make here on earth and the treasures you create in heaven. It is about manifesting. It is about tuning in and connecting with what you value. So allow those emotions to be healed. The Ho'oponopono is wonderful for that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Allow that heart to heal because wonderful things are out there all around you. It's just a matter of shifting the way that we're looking at them and welcoming them in. And it's not easy when we're in the middle of it. I know. God, do I know. Holy cannoli. That's why we come together like this. And we have this time to be in community, to be able to connect with the energy of the cosmos, and to just take this time to know that we have options. Okay, Thursday. Thursday, the moon is still in Pisces. So very spiritual day, intuitive. You might find that you benefit from journaling, and the reason I say journaling is because on Thursday is when Saturn and Venus conjunct Saturn. Mercury is playing into this a little bit too. Maybe that was on Friday. But here's the thing about Thursday's energy. This is the day, and of course we're going to be feeling it building. The universe doesn't turn on a dime, as my teacher says. We feel this energy coming in. It's not like it's 12:02 and the world is going to do this now because the planets have aligned. We feel it building. So Thursday is the day that Venus conjuncts Saturn. And what you might discover is that's the day when you're like, okay, I'm ready to have the talk. I've done the creative, innovative thinking. I've paused, I've contemplated, I've done the deep healing spiritual work of Pisces. And now I'm ready to kind of sit down and take a look. What do I need to do? What are my options? Getting that clarity, because as soon as you have the data, the fear and the anxiety start to fade away. You have a plan. The uncertainty isn't just so overwhelming and just hanging over your head. This is what helps make you diamond strong and gives you the courage and the unshakable trust of it's going to work out. And why is it going to work out? Because you have friends in high places. You have the sacred practices and tools. You have the community here where we come together and you know, and you can learn and play and experience. How can I work with these energies? So Thursday's Pisces moon, allow yourself to hear the guidance and then contemplate it, journal on it. Maybe you want to paint it. Maybe you want to put on good music and just move your body to it to process the information that's coming through. But be sensitive to your emotions and your feelings. And we're going to just ask, how can you make the most of Thursday's energy? Ooh, they're all kind of coming. Ooh, the sun. Now, here's the interesting thing. The sun came out upside down. So the sun is a very optimistic card, a happy, happy card. Some people might even say the happiest card in the whole deck. But Thursday, it's saying what's blocking your happiness. You know, sometimes we think it's easier continuing on with the old routines, patterns, habits. And we're like, oh, it's going to be too hard to change, or it's going to be, it's going to be uncomfortable. But sometimes we don't realize how much discomfort we are already in. And if we were to start to make those tiny little changes, how happiness, by just changing routines, habits, structures, patterns, is available with so much more ease. And if I ask, okay, what action might potentially help you in really having the courage to be happy? Oh, the sun came out again, right side up. Oh, what? That's too crazy. Oh my God, that's hysterical. And here's what comes through to say to you. Step back into awe and wonder. So it's like the beautiful Bible phrase or quote, be like the little children of God, for they're the ones who enter the kingdom of heaven. You look and you see in awe and wonder, like, oh, that sunset's so pretty. Look at the dew on the grass. Oh, the air feels so soft this morning. Oh, this bed is just so relaxing. How does a television work? Just the awe and the wonder. Go back to the simple basics, and that can bring you back to really connecting with happiness on a very foundational level. And I invite you to ask yourself, and see how this wants to be phrased. What's stopping you from being happy? Are you stopping yourself? Is something stopping you? Are you waiting for a condition to be right? I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. And just take a moment to tune into the awe and wonder so that you can be happy now with whatever is going on. You find the beauty in the moment. Ah, that was a really sweet message that came through. I'm going to have to go back and listen. I forget these things. And yes, I do just readings. So if someone's interested in just having readings, then please go ahead and hit reply to the email that I send you. If you join my email list with the irenamiller.co/get calm. You can also find the link in the description around here, irenamiller.co/stars. I'll go ahead and I'll put that up. And happy birthday to to Julie's mom. That's right. Julie's mom. Yay! That's Tuesday. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So I'm going to just put this up here really quickly, irenamiller.co/stars. So if you are interested in a one-on-one reading, you can go to this link, and I offer one-on-one readings here, irenamiller.co/stars. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about the last few days of the week. As we hop into Friday, Aries moon, the energy is going to shift, and it's going to be palpable because Pisces, very low key, very contemplative, but Aries moon is fire. This is when the courage starts to build. When you start to feel the heat within you, like, I got this. You might feel inspired in your actions. You might feel like, I got to just do it. I think of Aries moon as just do it energy. Think later. Give yourself a moment. Definitely contemplate before you leap before you look, or look before you leap. Holy cannoli. Well, that was a Freudian slip. That's an Aries moon. Leap before you look. I did that a lot as a child, but not because I have an Aries moon. We got some other things going on in the chart. Too funny. Okay. So Aries moon, how can you make the most of that energy? Because this, you're feeling it build, right? This is when the pressure cooker's really, really building. Five of Swords. Five of Swords is knowing when to walk away. I think of sunk cost. Sometimes we're like, but I invested so much in this, like in this website and this training, this course, this relationship, the clothes, the house, whatever it is. It's saying, you know what? You could win, but it's going to come at a cost. And is it worth it? Know when to walk away, know when to lay the sword down. I don't know if you can see in some cards, you can see him laying the sword down. Know when to lay the sword down and walk away so that you're not constantly bothered by these chitter chattery bird thoughts. Why did you do that? Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you can make the most of it. And you just keep investing, and you get yourself deeper and deeper into the hole. And it's like, know when to, call your losses and quit the game. Well, know when to walk away. Ooh. I get chills because that's a hard one. I don't know about for you guys. I know that's really hard for me. I'm like, no, I can make it work. I'll re-up the subscription and I'll do it better next time and I'll be more engaged and I'll really pay attention and I can't quit. And all the emotions wrapped up with that. And then all the shame of like, how could I have spent that money on that? Or how could I have done that? This week is healing. We're open to major, beautiful transformation. Like what's blocking your happiness? Is your happiness being blocked because, it's too hard to walk away from the thing because you may not want to have to go through the hurt or the realization of like, what did I do? It's okay. Listen, you made the best choice possible with the information you had on hand at that moment in time. And now you have options. How are you going to move forward? Don't feel like you have to stay stuck. Okay. Saturday, moon still in Aries. And this is when things come to a head with the Mars Pluto opposition. This is the third time it's hit. So the first time this story started, so to speak, was in October, November 2024. And it came to a very tense moment January 3rd, 2025. And now this final opposition, April 26th on Saturday, 2025. And to navigate this moment, look back to the past, hindsight. What was happening in the fall of 2024, October, November? What was going on? What were there things where you might have felt like you had internal conflicts with or power struggles? What were you resisting? What felt like it came to a tense head, like in January, where you're like, oh, something's got to give, but you didn't quite let go yet. Now, this week, it's saying, all right, it's now or never. Now is the time. I gave you a chance to kind of really be introduced to the idea, think about it, play with it, navigate back and forth, but no more fooling around. Now you gotta take action. Okay, so with that being said, let's just ask, how can you make the most of Saturday's energy? Four of Cups. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Here's the thing about this card when I think about this week. This is the rainbow and the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If I just find that right thing, like I'm going to just stick with this. If I just do it one more time, I'll get it right. Or everybody else is making it work. I can do it too. I'll just keep at it. Here's the thing. There's a gift right at your fingertips. You're being encouraged to pause and to see that gift. Don't feel like you have to keep pushing and looking outside of your own backyard for the answer. It's right there at your fingertips. Pause, rest. The four is a card, Four of Cups, is about stability. It's about saying, all right, let's just get yourself stable before you try to reach for the next big thing. So as you're going through this transformation, as you're releasing, as you're getting the insights and the downloads, the eurekas, you're saying, okay, it's not about making some big I don't want to say big, drastic change. It's about saying, you know what? Some of the biggest changes and shifts come with a simple reframe of the situation and one tiny little change. It's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Sometimes it's just a little tweak. Sometimes, the radical change is simply being able to look at the world and seeing beauty, even where there's hurt and pain. It's like Mr. Rogers' mom, look for the helpers, or like my great aunts who were nuns, always see the beauty and the goodness in someone. And it could be something like that. And that, that's a pretty monumental change, but it's not like shaving your head and throwing away your wardrobe and going off to hike the Himalayas barefoot. Although you may want to do that too. That might be what you're being called to. But the Four of Cups is saying, you know what? This change doesn't have to be so radical. It can be just something simple that's right there. It's been beneath your nose the whole time. You just hadn't seen it. So I would ask, or say that prayer, may God go before me and show me the way. May angels watch and protect me throughout the day. Like, God, what am I missing? What's been at my fingertips this whole time? What have I been missing? And here's something, I'll give you a real life example really quickly. I was in a position with my business and things, basically there was just havoc. And without getting into all the detail, I'd gotten hacked and things were crazy. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I need help. I need guidance. What am I going to do? Because now things are really not working because I can't be on one particular platform anymore because of all of the craziness. And that's where I've really been spending most of my time engaging with all of you. And so I went for a walk and I got this inspiration. Get a booth at this big, big Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. And I thought, I'll never get a booth. It's September and the event's in November. That thing sells out years in advance. And so I'm resisting it, right? Like, no, God, it's not going to work. Don't you love, right? Oh my gosh, so ungrateful, the hubris. Anyway, so I kept getting the thought. I said, okay. When I get home from my walk, I'll take a look. I'll see if there's any tables. And if there's a table, I'll get it, no matter how expensive. And because these things can be pricey. And so I get home and sure enough, there's one booth or table available. I was like, what? This is impossible. Somebody must have dropped out at the last minute. It was a corner booth, perfect location. Everybody was like, how did you get that booth? Like, God. But I was resisting it. I was like, no, that could never happen, God. Right? You giggle, right? Like, oh, okay, come on, Irina. My poor angels. They're like, oh, goodness gracious, Irina. So go for the walk. Ask for the inspiration. God, what's right at my fingertips that I'm missing? Because that was a local event that came and it's been going on for decades. It's exciting. The answer's right at your fingertips. Ask for the help in seeing it. Okay, so Sunday. Sunday is the Taurus new moon. Breathe. You'd be able to take it a little bit slower because Taurus energy does not like to go fast. They like to take it slow. They like to enjoy themselves. They are very fixed. Another way to say stubborn. But they are rooted. They know what they like and they know what they don't like. And so as you're going into this Taurus new moon, there is that pressure building that is encouraging you to utilize that energy to achieve something big in your life rather than feeling overwhelmed by it. And we're going to just ask, how can you make the most of this moon? The star. This is limitless love or unlimited love. How you look up at the stars and you can't count the number of stars that there are in the heavens above when you get into a really beautiful dark night sky. This is have faith. Tune into your intuition and ask for the guidance. So Sunday, you've been through a week and the week is basically helping you to align with what you value, what your heart treasures, to help you achieve your goals. Don't stay stuck in the old ways, even though they're familiar, even though, it's like, it works. It's not great, but it's not broken. I'll stay. Universe is saying, hey, there's so much more out there for you. I want to help you. I want to support you. And part of that is like, sometimes we have to be made to be uncomfortable before we change. Because if we're comfortable, it's hard to change. It's like, I got to wake up earlier. I got to restrict something like my food or my spending, or I've got to change the way I'm doing this. Like, I don't know. But the outcome is so incredible and beautiful. And it's not going to be as challenging as you might be fearing. Um, Through that discipline comes the freedom. So I invite you, have that moment of radical honesty with yourself this week. What has to give? Because something has to give is basically what the universe is saying. It's a week of transformation, really transmutation. And so as you go into this week ahead, for my Moon Club members, know that we have a new moon sacred ceremony and gathering this Thursday at noon. I'll be sending everyone the information. If you're not a part of Moon Club, then you can check it out at irenamiller.co/club and check out all of the goodies. We would love to have you in there. We get together to celebrate the moon and to talk about how to make the most of it as you're going into the month ahead. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I really treasured this time together with all of you. I invite you to take what resonates with you from our time together, leave the rest, whatever you're ready for, whatever next steps, whatever sits well with your soul. And if you have benefited from this, please, please do share it with a soul friend. It can make such a difference on their journey. And I'm so grateful for that. In the meantime, trust your vibes, follow your heart. I'll see you all here next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Much love. Bye. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Chrissy. Thanks, Hannah. And thanks, Just Me. I love that name. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.